6, there are details about many of the organizations that can give you further advice and guidance. The section at the end of this book, Websites and Further Information, also has contact details for organizations that provide information about internships, apprenticeships, voluntary work, writing CVs, application forms, etc. Chapter 7 explains what a portfolio career is and how it could work for you. This chapter is particularly useful if you're thinking about making a career change. Chapter 8 moves on to what to do if you are currently stuck in a job or career you don't like, but, for whatever reason, you're unable to leave for now. There's plenty of positive advice if you're in that position right now. There's also advice and support around what to do if you actually hate your job or a course of study you've embarked on. And finally, there's constructive advice about managing unemployment. Whether you're stuck in a job you don't like or you're unemployed, whether you're still in education or just leaving it, or you're thinking about a career change, the emphasis throughout this book is that your attitude and approach make all the difference. You'll need a positive mindset, persistence, and determination. You'll also need an open mind, a willingness to be adaptable and flexible. Finding the right job and career for you might not be easy, but if you follow the steps described in this book, you'll not only ensure that you're heading in the right direction, but you'll do so with enthusiasm and confidence. 1. The changing nature of careers. The pen that writes your life story must be held in your own hand. Irene C. Casola. What is a career? Like most people, you probably think of a career as the work a person does throughout their working life, in a specific profession or industry. We talk about a career path and a career ladder. We see a career as something we make progress in, with opportunities for promotion, an increase in responsibilities and pay, and other benefits. Although we're all familiar with the concept of a career, it is, in fact, a relatively recent concept. In the past, most people simply did the work that was there. They did what their circumstances and environment presented them with. If, say, you lived in an agricultural community, your work was in agriculture, working on a farm or in associated work, as a blacksmith, for example. If you lived in a fishing community, your work was in the fishing industry, and if you lived in a mining community, you worked in or at the surface of the mines. In the towns and cities, you might have worked in a trade. You might, for example, have been a draper or a goldsmith, a tailor, a cordwainer, a plasterer, or a bookbinder. Whether a person lived in a town or a city, as a rule, if their family did it, so did they. In the middle of the 19th century, the advent of the Industrial Revolution brought people work in the factories and work with large employers, such as railway companies. By the 20th century, and throughout the following decades, access to an education widened the possibility for many individuals to enter a profession and build a career. Typically, people secured a job after leaving school, college, or university, and they either stayed there or moved on to maybe one or two other employers during their working life. Employees were loyal towards the company or organization they worked for, and were confident of a high level of job security. Within the organization, there was a clear line of promotion. Employees aimed to work their way up the career ladder in order to gain promotion and the associated benefits, increased responsibilities, pay, status, and a decent pension at the end. The organization you worked for mapped out your career. They provided career opportunities and progress. Now, though, many of the organizations and companies that used to offer steady, lifelong jobs are no longer presenting a linear career path and/or the security that previous generations experienced. The three-stage life of education, work, and retirement is clearly not fit for purpose. That's a huge shift for the young as they consider lifetime learning and multiple career shifts. What worked for their grandparents' generation won't work for them. And it's not only the young who face this challenge.